What were my top 5 most disappointing bottles of whiskeys from 2024? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Nathan here with the Everyday Drinker, bringing you guys a brand new video. Today, we are going to find out what my top 5 most disappointing bottles of bourbons and whiskeys were from my final tastings for my Bourbon of the Year event. If you guys remember, we had a class of bottles of bourbons that were low proof, and then a class of bottles of bourbons and whiskeys that were high proof. I'm going to give you my 2 lowest scoring low proof whiskeys and my 3 lowest scoring high proof whiskeys in this video. And, well, it might surprise you. Before we do this though, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I am doing my 10,000 subscriber giveaway once we hit 10,000 subscribers. And if you want your chance to win a Buffalo Trace trio set of Eagle Rare, Blanton's, and E.H. Taylor Small Batch, you gotta subscribe. Check the description down below for all the information. It's happening over on the Instagram, but the biggest thing here is that you are subscribed to the channel so that we hit 10,000 subscribers so we can give these away to one lucky viewer for this holiday season. But without further ado, let's get into my 5 least favorite whiskeys from 2024. Alright, so these are in no way, shape, or form bad bottles of juice. I want to get that clear across to all of you that these are not bad whiskeys, but what they went up against were just a little bit better than what these are. Now, for my parameters to create this line of top tier to bottom tier, I followed 3 simple rules. You had to give a nose score, you had to give a palate score, you had to give a finish score. Now, nose score was 0 out of 10. The palate score was 0 out of 20, and the finish was 0 out of 20, with a possibility of getting a max score of 50. Now, there are decimals that I gave for all of these so that we didn't have anything close in a tie, so that I could pinpoint just subtle differences in these whiskeys. Now, these are the 5 lowest scoring in the entire bourbon pickups of 2024. And we're going to start off with our lowest scoring whiskey of the year. With the lowest score of 2024, we are going to have Elijah Craig Batch A 124 coming in at 119 proof at 10 years, 9 months old. Now, I'm going to let you guys know what the scores were of these right now. On the screen, you are going to see the nose score of 6.2, a palate score of 16.7, a finish of 16 with a total score of 38.9. I really think that with this right here, it showed the youth in what Elijah Craig can do in these. This is no way, shape, or form, like I said, a bad bottle of bourbon, but when it goes up against its counterpart of the B524, I still have not gotten the C924, but when it went up against that, you guys will see what that bottle scored, and it's a significant difference from when you get some older juice at higher proof compared to younger juice at lower proof. You know, this definitely is probably one of my least favorite Elijah Craig releases over the past couple of years. I know it's a lot of your guys' least favorite as well. It was just lackluster in a lot of ways, and that's why, unfortunately, this got last place out of every bottle of bourbon we tasted for this competition. Let's get into our second lowest score. Our second lowest scoring bottle of whiskey is going to go to, unfortunately, Jack Daniel's 10-year. Now, this is strictly solely, in my personal opinion, due to the proof of this bottle of juice, and it was nothing short of great for what it was. But with a nose score of 7.2, a palate score of 16.5, and a finish of 16.8, rounding out with a total score of 40.5, Jack Daniel's 10-year just came up a little bit short. This is great. This is great, but you did get what Jack Daniel's tends to have, and that's a very forward banana note, but it did come off with a little bit of what I always find in this, a little peanut butter and jelly, which I really, really enjoy, but it's softer compared to the other bottles of juice that were in the lower proof categories, and it just, for some reason, came off a little youthful, when it really isn't. It's got some age to it with that 10-year age statement, but I think what really did hurt it is the proof, which is unfortunate. It's a great bottle of juice, but just did not stand up to the other bottles in its category. Let's get into our third lowest scoring bottle of whiskey. Our third lowest scoring whiskey is going to be going to this bottle right here. This is the Ironclad bourbon whiskey. It's a double oaked, coming in at 118 proof. This was really good, but you got the craftiness out of this, which if you guys want to pay attention when we upload our best bourbons of the year, you will find out that they came out with a fantastic bottle of bourbon. But this one right here, you got that craftiness, which sometimes comes off as a little youthful. I don't think that this tasted youthful, but you definitely got that craftiness that you get out of some smaller distilleries. And this definitely, in my opinion, is a good whiskey, but not great. This had a no score of 6.7, a palate of 17.8, a finish of 16.2. Like I said, the initial palate was absolutely mind-blowing. It was rich, it was creamy, it was viscous, it was sweet, decadent, oaky, really, really nice. But then once that initial palate fell off and it fell into that finish, you got that craftiness, and that's why that finish dropped so low to 16.2 to give this a total score of 40.7. So a little bit higher than your Jack Daniel's 10-year. I think it was, again, because of the proof, and that initial palate was mind-boggling how this was, but then that finish hit and you were like, this does taste crafty. But it's a great craft distiller out of Virginia that you can't go wrong with. If you want, it gained its a reputation in my eyes as one of those growing craft distilleries that are absolutely going to crush it in 2025, and can't wait to see what they come out with. But nonetheless, did score low in the high proof tier. There were some really, really heavy hitters in there, but let's get into our fourth lowest scoring bottle of juice right now. With the fourth lowest score, we're going to have the Michter's Barrel Strength Rye Whiskey. This was the highest proof low proof whiskey, coming in at 110.8 proof. This one right here came in with a no score of 6.6, a palate of 17.4, and a finish of 17.0 with a total of 41 points. Now that's a pretty good score, but there were some really, really heavy hitters in the low proof range that are in that 100 proof area that were just absolutely mind-blowing, and you guys are going to be astounded to see which one came out on top. This was good, but it does have that weird candy, medicinal, piney, little bit of like mustiness that I found on the nose that transferred into the palate and the finish. Whereas I enjoyed it because it was lingering, it was very viscous, it was mouth-watering, it really, really was nice in that aspect. But rounding it all out, it just had that little bit of a tinge that I just wasn't the biggest fan of. And for that reasoning, it did fall flat, and it did get the second lowest score in the lowest proof category. Now, let's get into the one that I wish did better, but got our fifth lowest score on this extravaganza. We've got Larceny Batch A 124. This bad boy is coming in at 124.2 proof. This was one of those bottles that, once I found out what it was after doing everything, I was kind of sad because I always do have a love and a soft spot in my heart for Larceny's, but it did do poorly in this. But you will find out where the B524 landed in this extravaganza once that video comes out. But this came in with a no score of 6.8, a palate of 17.5, and a finish of 17.8 with a total of 42.1. So we got a little bit of a jump from the other two bottles, and this was one of those bottles that was really, really close in the other bottles that were right ahead of it. Really, really good bottle, really sweet, really viscous, really nice maple note, maple wood, not like a maple syrup. Had some really nice caramels and vanillas in there. Definitely got the weediness from it, but it did have a little bit of a spice that I really, really found interesting. Really, really loved this Larceny when it came out. I still love it. It just went up against some really, really banger bottles, and that is the unfortunate thing when you have bottles of bourbons like this against higher tier bottles. You're going to find out which ones are going to be the best. Now, like I said, make sure you guys drop that like. Leave that comment on what you think is going to get best bourbons of the year in this comment down below. If you haven't, go check out the bottles that are going to be in the best bourbons of the year. I'll leave that video linked down below. Make sure you guys smash that subscribe button for the 10,000 subscriber giveaway. Check the link out below for the Patreon. Check the link out down below for the Instagram post where you want to go comment hashtag EDD10K to be entered into the giveaway. But till next time, this has been Nathan with the Everyday Drinker. Cheers.